Welcome to Arts and Community. I'm your host, Bobak Afshari, and I'm here with the lovely actress and playwright, Leslie Bouchard.
Hi, Bobak. Thank you so much for having me.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. I am so pleased to share that I am an interdisciplinary artist, and as you mentioned, I'm an actress and a playwright. Recently have been working with a collaborative called Archive, and what we do is ARC is for story arc, and then colon for a list, and Hive is collective. So we're really interested in collaborative storytelling, and we have a little collection of moments from a play that we wrote collaboratively called A Moment Unbound with us today.
Okay, and I think we actually have a clip of A Moment Unbound. It's a collection of different scenes from the play, if I'm correct. I think we can roll the clip. Let's take a look.
Why do you hold on to things?
Because it was mine!
You can only keep so many books. They must be curated, carefully vetted and chosen for relevance. The rest will be destroyed.
Why?
Because we say so.
The Unbound Center has a unique place in the vision of the World Archive. Of course, I feel privileged to be your eyes and ears here, Mr. Glass. This place is fascinating. But I don't think you've told me everything I need to know here.
Dearest Ruby, is it so uncouth for me to miss a place I actually haven't been? I need you to be part of this as much as I need this to be true. I surmise that our deaths and loves depend on our ability to achieve the great dream that any life is achievable. All my love, Alvin. What's that? Not yours!
But I remember it.
She's been lying to me.
She was afraid of him, of the people he worked for.
Ella, I was supposed to find these.
They believed in what they were trying to prove.
So we just watched a clip from your play, your collaborative play, A Moment Unbound. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes. So the play was written based on things that we found left behind in books donated to the Friends of the Library, like newspaper clippings, ticket stubs, letters. So we used these pieces of ephemera as writing prompts to create this whole world, which actually was also based on an installation that I had done of swaying bookshelves while I was thinking about what's been going on with books and technology. And this book, The Case for Books, there's a phrase in here that Robert Darnton uses. He talks about the inherent instability of texts. So while we were working on developing a show that played with these ideas, we came up with these fun masked characters, and they act as spirit guides, and there's a big family drama and that sort of thing. So it's really a very process-based play, and I have also some interviews that I did with various members of the community to get some backstory about different perspectives of what's been happening with books and media.
We have a clip coming up. Do you want to briefly introduce? His name is Andy Hertzfeld.
Yes, Andy Hertzfeld was kind enough to be one of the folks that gave us an interview and talked about his own feelings of about what's been happening with books and technology. So.
Okay, so we have the clip ready. Let's take a look.
Something deep that I've been thinking about a lot, but I haven't resolved, is, I'm this digital collector. I want to have, and literally, hundreds of thousands of these digital objects, these files in my collection. Why do I need a copy of any of them when I could access the canonical copy, the artist copy, or the copy on the internet? I can just sip from it whenever I need it. And that's always guaranteed to be the best. If the artist fixes their work well, it's fixed automatically for everyone if it's like that.
Oh, but then there's different people who have different ideas about fixing.
Yes, yeah, of course.
Star Wars.
Of course. So ultimately, the reason I have to go through this incredible pain to maintain all these artists to have my own is because I don't want to be separated from it. If I'm accessing the canonical copy in the net all the time, well, that my access rights can be turned off. And so, in a way, it's a freedom issue that I'm carrying around all this digital baggage. But I think it's important for people to be able to have copies. And but I do think it gets into some, it's a fairly deep philosophical thing that you were saying, is the artist copy. In a way, it's an obsolete concept. When you're creating out of physical materials, there was a canonical copy. A copy that's more perfect than the others, a copy that's original, and it really, really mattered. But if the thing you're creating is made of bits, I don't think there is a canonical copy. There is a canonical copy just by the artist christening it that. But the copies made from the canonical copy are truly identical. They're not distinguished. And so a painting, a sculpture, that has this quality of, being associated with certain atoms. And it's a real thing in the world. So that's different.
That was a lovely clip we just watched. The next clip we have to do has to do with Les's new project, and it's interviewing Annesley Podol and Beth Brandenburg. So let's roll the clip.
Absolutely. Is that you picked out?
Yeah, I picked out a book called, I forgot what it's called. It's about like a wolf story. And it's like, I think this guy, he finds a wolf and then they like become really good friends or something like that.
Well, it was the Bedoin Dance School, and Heston Bedoin and his wife started, he actually had trained as an accountant and thought he would be a business person, but it was the Depression, and he didn't have a job, and suddenly he thought, I have a piece of land in Palo Alto. I could open a dance school. And so he had taken dance in college, and his wife danced beautifully, and so they opened a dance school. And pretty soon all of the junior high and senior high students in town began to want to do social dancing of all kinds, and almost everybody went to the Bedoin school. So they had all sorts of classes, tap dance classes, ballet, and of course they had recitals, and the two houses that they built are still here on the corner of Cowper and Colorado. And the family was in the process of beginning to clear the houses out, and they were kind enough to find some tap shoes and some ballet shoes and some big pictures with lots of the students on it, and they loaned it to us to take to the Midtown neighborhoods ice cream social that was in Hoover Park, which was actually about 2 blocks from where the Bedoin School was.
So these are clips that are going to inspire a new series you're creating, a new web series. Do you want to talk more about that?
Yes, and actually, we're not sure necessarily if the new web series will be totally separate from A Moment Unbound, if the book sprites might not be a part of that world in making these connections between some of the themes that are popping up in the different interviews with people. Like, so for instance, Beth was talking about the Depression and this dance studio, and it would be really fun to, and there just happened to be this amazing trio playing tango music in the background while she was telling this great story. So it would be lovely to have some sort of a story come out of that that is maybe set in that era and that has some ballroom dancing in it, you know.
So basically what you're doing is you're taking a non-fictional event, like an interview, and you're kind of creating it into a fictional story or a group of fictional stories.
Exactly. So it's sort of this experimental, playful narrative. And then also getting it to be located downtown in our own city, and hopefully a semi-public event. So it becomes a performance in itself, live, that people can participate in and be a part of in a lot of different ways. And then also there'll be an archive of it online. So we're really interested in creating an archive of community arts projects, you know, bringing people together in that way. It's very exciting.
Do you have any ideas of like what kind of web series it would be, how many parts, any insight in
Not totally yet. We did have a brainstorming session here at the Media Center back in August, and some things came up about Cooley Landing and the drummers of Cooley Landing. And Beth has another story actually that she shared about the history of Cooley Landing, which might be a fun thing to incorporate. So I think that we have a lot of good ideas. So now it's just a matter of bringing people from the community together to really brainstorm and write some things down, and then get out there and cast it and shoot it. You know, so hopefully in the next 3 months or so, you know, I'm excited that we at least got some interviews going. You know, we have some source material, and then over the holidays, I'll probably doing a little writing, I hope.
Do you have a group, like a team of writers working on this, or is it just yourself?
Well, you know, often if I set a deadline, then I have to live up to that, but I am really committed and inspired by a lot of my inspiration comes from working collaboratively. So usually I'll try to set up a few workshops in between and put out a call, you know, and of course there's our website is www.arc-hive.org, sorry. But if you go to archive.com, that's Internet Archive, we're not Internet Archive.
So where do you think people are going to find this, like when it comes out?
Oh, so we're looking at putting together probably a YouTube channel or a Vimeo. We've been looking at how to package this. We would love to also include a shop local component to it, since we're looking at setting it downtown in using actual settings in our neighborhood. You know, so that is a really exciting opportunity to maybe partner with some of the amazing design boutiques, historic locations around town. Could be really exciting. And we've had some interest from some of the small business owners.
Going into another thing you've worked on, we have a clip later showing a program you did with teens, and we have two of the teens coming in, Miguel and Sam.
Yes.
Do you want to briefly talk about that before we roll the clip?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that's really important to me working collaboratively is also working intergenerationally. So being able to learn from our elders and from those that are the next generation, you know, we all have different perspectives. So each part of our lives, you know, gives you a different sort of angle. So it's important to have that kind of inclusivity, I think, to get it gives a certain richness to the material that I love. And so this last summer I got the opportunity to do the Animation DigiQuest camp here, and I had a wonderful teaching assistant named Miguel, who he picked out this piece that we're going to show. I think
right
that
now,
the clip
actually,
that you have.
Let's roll the clip right now.
Okay. So that was awesome to see that again. Miguel, thank you so
Hello.
much for working with me last summer. You really helped keep everybody on track.
It was a pleasure.
So I would love to hear, well, a little bit about you and your experience working with the student that made that particular clip. That was Ian,
Yes,
right?
Ian.
And so if you could talk about like where you are in school and stuff right now and how you felt about your work last summer.
So right now I am a current 10th grader at Palo Alto High School. I interned here at the Media Center over the summer, and I was assigned to TA for your class. And the project that I helped out with Ian was this Attack of the Cheetos. It all came about because one of the students, they started a trend about having an action-oriented animation, and not a lot of people had an actual idea of what to do, but this person just like gathered all the kids together and just made an awesome lightning bolt animation, which started this like group, just like wave of action, and that actually gave Ian some inspiration of what to do from his previous ideas. And currently, at the time, he didn't know what to do with his current idea. He had a walking dog just walking through the park, but just seeing this action animation that another student made, it inspired him to make another idea, which originally was a little dark for the actual class. It was more PG-13 than PG. So we try to tone it down into something more friendly. Instead of having like the dog actually killing people, we have him killing Cheetos, because I gave him the idea of, since the flames look like Cheeto Puffs, I made a joke about how it looks like just the snacks Cheetos, and he got an idea of making the actual villain a Cheeto, which was pretty fun. Yeah.
Right. So you guys really got into the playing with transformation and thinking outside of the box. That was pretty apparent.
Yeah.
That was fun. Okay, and we also have Sam Miller. It's so good to see you here as well. How long has it been since we've seen each other?
About 5 years.
Okay, so where did we first meet?
We met at the art center at Rinconada, and you taught us stop motion in video class.
Wow.
In the stop motion class, I made this video about a little guy with a big nose who chased around a fish. And then in the video production class, I made a Halloween movie we had to buy a fog machine. It's pretty cool.
Wow. So now, 5 years later, you are, where are you in school now? You're in
ninth grade at Pali.
At Pali. And what other video things do you have lined up?
I started interning here at the Media Center about 2 months ago, and I filmed a community service day. I have a YouTube channel with kind of legit movies, and I do stuff for my school.
Oh, that's great. And I think we have some other pieces from the class that Miguel TA'd for. So can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah. So each of the kids had different ideas of what they wanted to present to the table. So one of them had a baker. It was more focused on art. And
yeah, her drawing was amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. And then another kid, Kate, she wanted to do something different. She didn't want to have characters, but she wanted to focus more on abstract images, which was different than any of the other kids because they had character and narrative-based stories. And then the other animation was made by Zale, who was so laser-focused on his storyboard. He just went all out on that. That was his only animation, but it really came through because he put a lot of time into it.
Okay, great. Well, let's take a look at that if we can. Time.
Captain, what happened? We're crashing to a planet. Let's explore it. I am Captain Player Little Graham Higashi. We need your help fixing our ship. Okay, where is your ship? This way. Follow me. Thank you for helping us. You are welcome.
Wow. Thank you so much for curating those for us.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to hear you talk about your current video work and where you see yourself going next in video and film.
So currently I'm more focused on working on video for the Media Center because this is my extracurricular that I actually enjoy doing. The Media Center allows me to make videos while I don't have time to do it in school because I'm more focused on completing like just credits, and I don't really have that many options in school for classes to take video. But previously, originally I worked on animation as well in 7th grade. I showed that in class with a group project of mine that I made. I also made a couple of short films from last year, freshman year. I was in a video production class and I made a couple of them, which were not that bad actually.
Cool.
They were pretty good, yeah.
All right. So do you see yourself doing more in the future?
Yeah, I actually want to incorporate video and just media in. I'm more of a business type of guy, but I want to incorporate like just how I can use video and media to market just a product or anything that would help me and just get the other side of that just business.
That experience.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. All right. And how about you, Sam? Can you talk a little bit about what's hot on your YouTube channel these days?
Well, I started it about a year ago with my cousin. We were just kind of just goofing around, and then we made Waffle Productions, and we both write scripts together, and it's kind of casual but pretty fun. And I also I worked for like the student news channel at my school, JTV. I learned a lot there.
Cool. So doing journalistic kinds of interviews and things?
Yeah.
Cool. What sorts of, any particular topics that you remember?
Well, the teacher assigned the topics like bike safety or just kind of the sports events that went on there.
Okay, cool. And I know, so you guys both go to Pali,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so, Babak, you go to one of the local high schools as well, right?
Yeah, I go to Los Altos High.
Okay. And so, what is your passion in a connection to film these days? What are you working on?
I do a lot of short films in my free time. I work in my school newspaper, The Talon, so I do video production for them. And I work here at the Media Center, and I engineer, so I do a lot surrounding video.
Great. Wow, it's really great to be here in this environment with all of you creative people and to get a chance to share about Archive has been really exciting, and I hope that we get a chance to work together maybe on the web series. If you guys are interested, I would be honored. It was so cool to bump into you here, Sam, after, you know, it's been such a long time, and that you're still passionate and doing your video work is cool. And of course, Miguel, it was really neat coming in and finding you here as well. So, and making new friends and collaborating is what it's all about.
Do you have any like final words on like A Moment Unbound or anything for the audience to see of like? projects.
Absolutely. I really hope that we get a chance to tour the play and do it maybe again in San Francisco and other places around the area, because I think it really does get at some really interesting issues about books and a relationship with books and technology in a playful way, and also that we are able to carry that idea that we were talking about, the web series, and that actually helps promote local businesses and artists. I think that that's important.
Thank you so much for being on the show, Lessa.
Thank you.
Thanks to all the viewers for tuned in. Thanks to everyone. Hope you guys have a good night, and thank you for tuning into our show.